This is Jesse Dean with Jesse Dean Designs and Custom Audio Products. This is the JDDX2R portable crossfader. We're just going to do a tutorial here on how to clean and service this to our specs. There's guys out there doing it now, which is awesome. I'm excited to hear it, and I'm excited to see people taking these things apart and experimenting with them, which they were meant to be done. So we're going to go over a few things that you're going to need to clean this. Obviously, Phillips screwdriver, number 1 Phillips. Let's turn that around. Phillips number 1. 3 Q-tips, which would be, or 3 or 4, whatever, but your cotton swab Q-tips here. You would also need isopropyl alcohol. 50% or 70% will be just fine. Don't go any lower than 50% because the water will leave film. You can get that at a 99-cent store. I don't recommend to get the mint or green stuff because that stuff just doesn't work that well. Then we also have a spray lubricant here, which is an anti-corrosive. It's not deoxit, but it's an actual anti-spray lubricant. The deoxit stuff out there is cool stuff, but unfortunately as it dries it does leave residue to create and collect dust and stuff. So what we're going to do is go over and how to take this apart. Now if you notice, we're going to go over here. There's a crossfader, which is your knob, obviously 1, 2 top screws there that hold the fader assembly or slide assembly in. Then on the bottom of it we have 1 and 2 screws here. We're not going to take apart the top. We don't need to on the cleaning. So we just take apart the bottom 2 screws. So we go 1 here. Go ahead and pull the bottom of the board off the cover. If you look inside there, we have the actual circuit board fader assembly. And there's 2 screws, 1 on your right and 1 on your left, or vice versa for me and you. This would be my right, your left, or your left or right. I don't know, whatever. So anyway, what you're going to do is take off these 2 screws, 1 and 2, which is your Phillips screwdriver here. What I normally do is I hold the board down very lightly in the center to keep it in place, because underneath the unit there is slider fingers that make contact against the board, and we want to keep those as clean and as straight as possible without bending them. So we'll go ahead and take those 2 screws off. Okay, now the board itself should just pop right out, just like so. So if you look inside, you've got your slider assembly, you've got your 2 rails, finger contact slides, and so on and so forth. We're going to set that down, like so. And then of course, here's your board. This is a gold-plated contact board for slide and accuracy. And then of course you have your input jacks here and your output jacks and auxiliary jack on the bottom. So what we do to clean that, what happens a lot of times is dirt, debris, hair, finger cheese, DJ dust, who knows what else. It gets down inside here and gets down between the contacts of the slider fingers and the contacts here, which create static pops, clicks, all types of different types of funky, weird stuff that we prefer not to have. So to clean it, what we do is just take a regular standard Q-tip, a little rubbing alcohol. Okay. Now we take the side that's just wetted with the contact there, and we go ahead and clean the contacts here. Plan behind this. Now take the other side of the Q-tip, which is the dry side, and go ahead and now clean off all that old debris and the thing, just like mopping up a spill in the thing. Okay, so what we're trying to do is keep any type of oxidation or any type of debris or any type of actual oil fingerprints and so on and so forth, because that's something to keep from contact to contact. So we want to try to keep it as clean and as dry as possible. That's the theory. That's where we engineered it. But people have been using gun oil and other things on here and claiming it works great. Whatever works for you. There is no right or wrong answer for this. So that's that part there with the board. So we'll go ahead and set that there. Now to clean this, if you have any type of dirt and debris or so what we're going to do is take another clean Q-tip, and we're going to go ahead and swab it with a little bit of alcohol. So the alcohol is on this one side. Now, the way the fader fingers go is they're going to be facing downward and out, so they're just like fingers. If you push back against your finger, it basically bends and it doesn't like to go that way. But if you go with your fingers, it's good. So as you probably know, So what we're going to do is just gently with the alcohol side, go ahead and go away from the fingers, not back, but away from the fingers. Off. Now take the clean side of that Q-tip, the dry side, and take all that good stuff off there. Okay, so nice and clean, pretty and beautiful without taking the rails out, because if we just take the rails out, then we got to realign them on the board, put them back together, so on and so forth. That's for a major clean if you need to do that, but for just standard servicing, this is the best way so far. We've done it without having any type of contact issues. Now if you need to lubricate the rails, I recommend to go ahead and get another clean Q-tip right here. Okay, now take the dirty side of the not dirty side, but the one side of the Q-tip, and go ahead and clean off the rails. You don't have to pull it out, but just clean them off. Get any type of gook and grease or anything that's on there off, So, got that going. Now, what we do is take the clean side. This is the dirty side that we just slobbed with. Take the clean side with any type of lubricant that you'd like, preferred lubricant you like, preferably silicone oil, gun oil, so on and so forth. But a silicone-based stuff works the best against plastic and metal without any type of deterioration of the polymers. So what you want to do is go ahead and now spray a little bit over a trash can, just a little bit on the tip of the Q-tip. Okay, now this is a recommendation from Rain. This is how they told us to do it, and they recommended it since day one, since we started running with the dual rails. But just go ahead and now swab that oil all over the rail. Anyway, once that's all clean, ready to go, it's nice and fast, nice and slick, really fast and slick, which is good, ready to rock and roll. Now what we're going to do is take the board, make sure everything is clean on that board. Make sure there is no debris, no fingerprints, no nothing on there. But like I said, if you are an avid user and you like the oil of the board, try it. I don't know. Personally, I don't know if it makes any difference, but I know a dry contact is a clean contact. Clean contacts are clear contacts. Unless there's a specific lubricant that is built for it, which we're looking for. But until then, we just recommend it to be dry. But like I said, you got your own, do what you got to do. So at any rate, we're going to go ahead and put that back on there, like so. Make sure everything is lined up, your two holes. So look down, make sure your holes are lined up. Once they are lined up and they look good, go and put a little pressure in the middle of the board to seat the board in place. Now take your two screws that you had before, and go ahead and put your two screws back in. Okay, so put them in, don't snug them, just put them in very lightly, just so it holds the board in place. Now what I'll recommend to do is once you get them in, everything looks good, the fader feels nice and smooth and clear, go ahead and put just a mild torque on there, just very lightly. Doesn't have to be very tight, because if we twist those blocks, then it'll put tension against the rails, which will cockeye, and then of course will bind up your slider, which we don't want. So it feels nice and clean, nice and clear. Now we just go ahead and put the bottom back on here, debris. Go ahead and put the cap back on, make sure everything's lined up. Screw one, screw two. So fader is ready to rock and roll, and you're ready to go out there now. Continue on with your portable scratching and all your good stuff. Who knows what else you could use this thing for? We're still testing on all types of crazy nonsense. So anyway, this is Jesse Dean with Jesse Dean Designs. This is how to clean your JDDX2R. If you have any questions, just hit us up at jessedeandesigns@yahoo.com. This will also be on our website and also on YouTube. So happy scratching!